Darren Ravel from Collect TV here with Austin Ekeler, the running back for the Washington Commanders. Austin, we are bringing you here because of Experience, the new app that you have. Tell us what the formation was. Why did this come about for you? What was missing, and what did people need?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. And as you mentioned, don't know how we haven't talked, but hey, we're here we are. Here
Yeah.
we are. So I'm glad we finally made the introduction. But just going back to Experience, my app, it's a fan engagement tool. And what I saw was as athletes, we have a big fan base, but really don't have the means to be able to utilize it for ourselves. Usually it's through brand deals and so on, which isn't a bad thing. But for myself, I felt used. So I was like, how can I utilize my own fan base? And I had to build an entire team to do all of these different types of things like streams and giveaways and tournaments. And I was like, you know what? I want to build a platform that acts as the team to help facilitate fan engagement for athletes. And that's
Because
exactly what.
it always seems like there's a middleman who potentially doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, in this case, there needed to be a middleman because for me to do different types of activations and things like that, that's usually my marketing team. Well, they're not going to do things that are more for one-offs or for subscriptions. And so I was like, okay, let's make a model that Experience the app acts as the team. So all you have to do is really sign up and then just fulfill things that come your way.
So the app has a partnership with the NFLPA, so players are signing in there. Western Colorado, where you're from, NIL deals seems like it would work perfectly. Makes it a little bit more seamless than like DMing a player, especially a college player. Would probably be
Yeah.
a little bit weird, to
Yeah,
just.
exactly. So here's the deal. There's a lot of people that want access, and for us as athletes, if you're willing to do these types of engagements, then this is a perfect place to do that. This is a place for you to make a lasting memory with your fans. So we call it the real fan experience because yeah, you might be a fan from afar, but have you actually met me yet? Like get that real interaction, whether that's getting something signed, having an interaction with the video chat, you're cheering me on for a game, or if you go the college route and you want to support the team or support the players, you can get on the exclusive and join the newsletter that goes through there that's filled out by the players every single month. So things like that you can get involved and be around the ecosystem of a team.
How much do you think the talking and a picture with has replaced the autograph? Now, I know that you can get an autograph on a jersey and it kind of you can scroll down and look at what you can get signed. But for me, it seems like at least someone who has 10-year-old twin sons. God, I hope I didn't have 10-year-old twin sons. Two 10-year-old twin sons, they would rather, I think, chat with Austin Eckler for a minute than have your autograph.
I think
Uh,
it depends on the situation, right? If you see me in person, let's grab a picture, let's chat, let's get something signed. But most people don't have that opportunity. And so you don't have you where how are you going to get your thing signed if you're a fan? How are you going to support the team from afar or have an interaction with any of the athletes that you care about? Well, more than likely you're not going to have that opportunity. And so that's our goal is to give you that opportunity and bring you an opportunity to have some type of interaction with that person.
how much has fantasy football changed the game? Now someone owns Austin Eckler. Hey, he's on my team. He's gonna say my team name. I mean, how much has that changed the game?
Yeah, so it's more than that too. Actually, I've been really proud about kind of some of the interactions that are going on. Like some of the interactions are really just guys rooting guys on, where it's like, hey, like I've been following you since college. Like I'm really a big fan. Like good luck against New York coming up. And so there's been a lot of those types of interactions where that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create some type of connectivity where it's not always the transactional one-off where it's like, yeah, root me on because you're on my fantasy, where it's more so like you feel like, oh, I can expect to see this person back again, probably, giving me some encouragement in the future. And so really trying to create a real connection more so than just the one-off type engagement. But there's always going to be the fantasy stuff. There's always going to be those types of interactions. I enjoy them. Some guys don't like to fulfill those, so they'll decline them. Just depends on your personality. But that's why the app's there. It's the app's there to have the opportunity to potentially get that.
How do you get mass signing? How do you get a bunch of people on, facilitate just more and more names?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be building the reputation, making it easy for athletes. As an athlete myself, like I know there's a bunch of pressure during season, and so we really don't want to have a lot of extra, things pulling on our attention that takes us away from this, from the main thing, which is playing the actual sport. So that is the entirety of how I've built this app, where it is as simple as like fulfilling a text message type, where that's how you're going to end up getting paid. That's how you get the notification. And that's actually that easy for you. And now with the signings as well, where it's like, hey, I'm out here with Washington. We only allow it with Washington and the LA teams, but we have someone in that region that will take it to you on the off day, or hey, meet after at this point at some type of hotel or outside the facility, sign the stuff, and we'll send it out for you. So really making it as simple as possible for these athletes has been the main mission so far.
All right, I got to ask you the tough question. When I think about competitors, I think about Cameo, who's had that established, and I think about Fanatics, right? So let's say there's a player who's coming up and he signs with you, and then Fanatics is like, nah, we own him now, and so what is your pitch to people to get him aboard?
Yeah, so if you sign with Fanatics, then that is 100% on you. We don't have any exclusivity over here. I know they do have an exclusivity. We've ran into that already a couple times. And so hey, they're gonna own your IP when it comes to the signature, and that's where we're at right now. They have a reputation, we don't necessarily. So that's one of those things. Like I said, we're gonna have to continue to build our reputation to where either we can even go talk to Fanatics about, hey, this is what we want to do. Maybe there's some type of agreement there, or where we build ourselves up where we have our own exclusive as well. It's not necessarily something we're in a position to do yet because we're still building that, and want to continue to prove out that model. And then when it comes to Cameo, like a Cameo is something that as an athlete, what did I mention? We don't want it to be hard. Well, if you're on Cameo, you gotta set your price, you gotta market it, you have to keep it up. For us, Experience does all that for you. Everything is put on there for you. So after you sign up as an athlete, it's just straight up dings on your phone. Do I want to do this or not? Yes or no? You accept, you deny. You accept, you deny. That's it, and then you go on your day. You don't have to promote it. That's why we bring the entire team on, or ever many we can get from that team, so that we can run promotions, or we'll work with your school if you're a college, so that we'll integrate into your school's exposure techniques. And so as an athlete, you get to do what you do best, which is focusing on, if you're school, and school is school, and being an athlete. If you're in pro, it's just being an athlete.
How do you figure out margin, like prices for certain people and, how much of a take you'll take? Especially since the guys who are joining now are like the initial guys, right?
Yeah,
So like you
absolutely.
know a lot of
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah, so right now we just take the generic 20% marketing cut. That's what it is right now. And that's, like I said, pretty generic when it comes to marketing rep, cuts. So that's where we're at right now. And then how we set prices is, depending on who you are, your popularity, the followers, starters, different positions, whether it's in college, you have a big following, things like that. Like that'll account into what we put on for your price. So we put on the price for them. If we've had people push back and say, hey, I want mine to be higher, great, we'll do that for you. But we have that conversation and a methodology for them to reach out to us as well. So we work as close as we can with our athletes. But for the most part, I think we've been doing a good job of just handling it for them, because we haven't had too many pushbacks on, hey, I don't like this or like that. So it's been great so far.
Finally, how do you market this besides, PR and everything else? Obviously, you're in the NFL, but you can't. I mean, I don't know if you can have an experience hat at the end of a game or on a dais. I know you probably want to push it, but what are the limitations of kind of marketing it to the fans?
Yeah, so there's a few different angles, and we have Gwen. She's our marketing specialist. We have on board, and she has taught me very well that you have to hit people from multiple angles. And so we have our organic that we're doing on socials. That doesn't really get too much reach right now because we're new, but we have the PR that I've been doing, and doing a ton of interviews about this. Reaching out to big journal publications as well, reaching out to different even TikTok people, people in the space. That's the new age of marketing, is getting into the social media, the short form content. And it's really great for us because we can target the specific audience that we're going after, which is that football fan. And there's a lot of different football communities out there. even things like in the Discord space, in the gaming space, and just in the memorabilia space. But then we also have ads as well. So we do some paid advertising right now. We have probably like 8 or 9 ads running out there, and we continue to cycle those through and get feedback on those. So really attacking from multiple ways. And that's another difference between us and I think a lot of our competitors, because we don't rely on our athletes to do the marketing for us. That won't work. That will never work, because they're not marketers. As athletes, we are marketable, but we are not marketers, right? There's a big difference. And so we use that for our advantage and make sure that we get that popularity, or use that popularity to our advantage to help bring that community in and show their communities, hey, you can actually have these interactions, and here's why it's important, and here's what it can do for you as a fan.
Austin Ekeler, running back for the Washington Commanders. Thanks so much for joining us on Collect TV talking about experience.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.